Like, I finally got somebody to come into my house and to start to finish the drywall in my kitchen that has been sitting unfinished behind me for like almost 3 years now in my videos. Look, they made a beautiful lined pattern. I was gonna get my kitchen finished, start recording cooking videos in here again, and because I was like reasonably sure that although I most likely could catch COVID again, I wasn't gonna die from it if I caught it, I was gonna start cautiously going out in public and filming food eating vlog videos again while making certain to test myself for COVID with an at-home test before and after each one of these adventures. And by the way, the tests I use are this brand, and the reason that I use them is you don't have to send the test results to an app to find out if you're negative or positive, nor do you have to have your swab sent to a lab that might also sample your DNA and send it to China. It's like a pregnancy test. Here's my most recent negative one. You do it at home. You get a red stripe if you're negative and 2 if you're positive, and you alone, not some corporation or some government official, get the results for yourself. I test myself like 2 to 3 times a week with one of these tests, and every single time that I go out in public, especially times when people run up to me and grab me and hug me, or shake my hand, or even come within 6 feet of me without a mask, I test myself a few days later, just to be sure that they didn't give me COVID like a 3rd time. So if one of these little things had come up positive after I went to Arcata to film a video after not leaving my house almost ever in like almost 2 years, I would have laughed. Like literally, like, I got COVID a 3rd time? Well, I guess I disproved natural immunity. But I didn't get infected with COVID. I got infected with something that is probably causing me far more misery than getting COVID a 3rd time could. Scabies. If I could find my boyfriend's phone, I would connect this really cool scope to his phone and get a zoomed in, close up, microscopic image of my scabies. But I can't, because it doesn't connect to my iPhone, which is why I have to give it a mediocre review. It only works connected to my boyfriend's phone that we can't find. Hi people, I was hoping to start out this video by waving around a bottle of ivermectin as I said hi to you, and I was also hoping to record a video about my chayote vine that is growing behind me today, because the chayote vine growing behind me is not going to produce a pale green, smooth-skinned chayote like the one I'm waving around right now. It's going to produce a pine tree green, spiny chayote covered with thousands of 1/4 inch long spines that are about as wide and sharp as sewing needles. When I bought it from the Mexican market, I had to ask a customer who spoke English, because the employees did not, to put it in the bag for me, because I couldn't figure out how to get it from the box it was being sold out of into a produce bag. She did a little rock the box motion where she held a produce bag open and rocked in one of these spiny chayotes for me, but before I could cook it, it actually started sprouting. So I planted it. So if that vine behind me ever produces chayotes, that's the variety that it's going to produce, not this one.
Oh look, there's an artichoke on this one.
Please get it out of my face. I was also going to make videos about a few other plants. I'm going to show them to you really quickly. This is a cross of Sanchus arvensis and some other type of Sanchus. And because I just watered it, it is now dripping on my leg. I recently discovered a YouTuber from New Zealand who's got like 100 videos of himself picking what he calls puha in the wild and boiling it up with whatever type of meat or vegetables he has on hand. What he's talking about is either this plant or a very closely related species. One of the funniest things that ever happened to me when I was harvesting plants in the wild is the time when I was harvesting dandelion leaves and the leaves of this plant and had them in two neat little piles. And some woman walking her dog walked up and said, I don't mean to be rude, but I want to tell you that that is not a dandelion. I said, I know. And she looked perplexed and confused and continued walking. Because even people who are into eating the weeds, who eat dandelion leaves, apparently do not know that this is edible. Tastes better than a dandelion, is just as nutritious. It actually tastes kind of like cooked spinach when you cook it. I love it. I put it into almost all my soups and stews. Anyway, I was also going to make a video about my crocosmia flower. Can you like lift it up?
Hold on, I'm busy.
I'll mention my crocosmia flower in a minute. So, you've seen the title of this video and you know what it is about. If anyone insinuates that I quote it from Spirit or calls him dirty, be prepared for me to tell you off nastily in response to your nasty comment. I almost certainly did not get it from Spirit, who is like the first person other than a member of my own family who's hugged me in like over 2 years. By the way, I would like to give honorable mentions to the hippies who have never once followed any of the government's COVID-19 safety guidelines, who have been smoking marijuana and putting it up to their mouths and passing it to other people who then do the same, who then pass it back, and then they put it in their mouths again, who have continued to hug strangers and who eat food off of the same fork or swill liquor out of the same bottle that everybody else is putting their mouths on. When Spirit hugged me in my video, a few people were horrified. Like, I'm gonna catch something from him because he's a dirty person. Spirit is most likely immune to COVID, and he's probably like the least likely person that I'm ever gonna catch it from, because just like he just jumped up and hugged me, he just like jumps up and hugs everyone. And he has been for the last 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic. If he hadn't acquired immunity by now, he would like be dead by now. So I got a rash, and I initially thought it was either from flea bites because one of my cats had slept in my bed with me, or from either poison oak or some kind of insect that bit me when I was walking through the forests in the Arcata Marsh filming videos. It turns out that the rash is caused by scabies, and before I knew this, I did the worst thing you could possibly do when you have scabies. I scratched the itchy rash and I touched other parts of my body, which spread it like all over my entire body. It's even like on my eyelids, in my ears, because at one point I picked up a Q-tip and started cleaning out my ears without washing my hands after scratching this itchy rash. And I am like miserable. I am like in agonizing pain, because everywhere where I scratched it, it like blistered and scabbed, and everywhere where I didn't scratch it, there's a horrible burning itch. And to make matters worse, the treatment for scabies is ivermectin. I tried to go to the online doctor that I normally go to when I have health conditions. I found out my insurance had been canceled. I then paid out of pocket to talk to the online doctor, and he accused me of faking it, basically. He accused me of having COVID-19 and pretending I had scabies to get ivermectin. I then went to another online doctor that charged me not just once but twice for absolutely no reason, and showed the doctor like a live video and pictures of like the rash covering my body from head to toe. Look at this, it is horrible. Because that video clip was blurry and not taken from very close up, here is the best video clip I can get without my scope camera to prove I have scabies. When you start to see lines of dots a few millimeters apart like that, and little black dots under your skin like that, that's scabies. And yes, I did scratch it. Sorry if it looks horrible. It was actually the only place I could find on my body where you could see a scabie. Is the singular form of scabies scabie? I don't know. That black dot there, that's a scabie. And then I literally begged the doctor to help me and prescribe me ivermectin. There was even a point where I typed in a text message saying something like, I think I caught scabies while filming a YouTube video and they won't give me ivermectin because they think I'm faking it, because they think I have COVID-19 and I'm trying to treat my COVID-19 at home. Can you please give me ivermectin for my scabies? So they were supposed to send it to me. It was supposed to be here today. It did not arrive today. And like, it takes like all the mental effort I can possibly like manifest to not scratch at this like painful burning rash. I'm literally having like a damn near panic attack. Like my heart is like racing just because I'm just like, ooh, it itches so bad I want to scratch, but I know it'll make it worse. Oh my God. Oh my God. And while this may seem like just irritating, it could actually become life-threatening, because if I actually do scratch at it, it could become infected and it could cause something like sepsis or something, like a bloodborne infection. That has happened to people who have had untreated scabies, who have scratched it themselves. So it's actually like dangerous to my health. Not only that, I lost my boyfriend's phone in my room, and while trying to find it, we did not. But we did find the keys to our gold Mercedes, the one sitting behind me that's just been sitting there looking abandoned.
It was news to me that it was lost.
What?
I didn't know that I was even missing the gold Mercedes key.
What?
Yeah, thought I had it.
Well, apparently you thought wrong. The reason I haven't gotten that thing registered for years or sold it is because I lost the key in my room. Anyway, we found the key that my boyfriend didn't know was missing, did not find his phone, might have broken one of my external hard drives, and broke my finger. So, no matter how hard I try not to scratch, every so often I just do it instinctively, and I usually do it with this hand, and then I'm like, ow, my finger! The result of having this scabies infection in my skin has been like life-destroying. I'm literally like a non-functional person. This is why I haven't filmed any videos recently or edited the one that I was working on, that I made a preview for. And why didn't they send me my ivermectin? I'm livid also. I'm miserable, itchy, scratchy, in pain, and livid. All at the same time. And he never picked up my crocosmia flower. Goodness. Can you pick up my crocosmia flower? So I don't have to record from a different perspective? Oh no, he's not going to. I have to record from a different perspective. There's my crocosmia flower. I actually have like hundreds of these growing in my yard. They're actually considered to be an invasive species in the state of California. What's unique about this one is it decided that it's in its native country, South Africa. It's blooming in the middle of December, not in June. Because crocosmia flowers never really go to seed. They produce a little miniature version of their bulb that falls off and grows. So this plant apparently is from a lineage that has the like memory somehow to think it's supposed to bloom in December, because that's when it's the middle of summer in South Africa. I'll show you my other ones. They're all like producing those little bulbs. None of them are blooming. And I have a few other plants from South Africa in my yard that occasionally do this. Like my calla lily, which is also doing this right now. See, here's the ones that bloomed in the summer right now. Every single one of these will fall off and grow into a new bulb that makes a new flower plant. As you can see, none of them are flowering right now. I was actually surprised when that happened, because I've seen other South African plants do that in my yard, but I've never seen a crocosmia do it. Cool, huh? Lots of people in Humboldt County hate this plant because it's a really invasive weed, but it's actually like basically harmless. It's not like gonna make you have a skin reaction if you touch it, for example, like the Ranunculus repens, also known as the common buttercup, growing here. This is the weed I want to eradicate from my property. I hate this noxious stuff. Wow, what the heck, cats? Oh, I'm recording a video, nice. What's up, Tops? Also known as Spot. It says Tops on one side of his fur and Spot on the other side. He does not like Tippy, especially when she gets meowish. Yeah, meowish. She gets meowish. She wants me to pet her. She wants some cat food. She wants to be in my video.
Yeah, I divided at least 9 artichoke plants.
9 artichoke plants? Cool.
Oh, 10.
10?
Yeah, at least 10.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're going to have more artichokes next year.
Yeah, hopefully they all take. We got 8 gallons of
That's good
artichokes
news.
this year in one harvest, and I think like 2 or 3 gallons, like a grocery sack.
Yeah, I remember we cooked a huge pot of them. I recorded a video of it, and then I never posted it on YouTube.
Yeah. It's okay.
Sorry, people, I actually have an iPhone 11 that I'm not using right now. I'm recording this on my iPhone 7 because it will not plug into any computer that I own. I got a brand new external hard drive. I called some people who said that they could plug my iPhone into the external hard drive and download all the data off of it for me, and then I just never showed up to actually do it.
Our yard's gonna look like a jungle next year.
I'm really sorry, people, for never showing up to actually do that. You will get my business in the future. I just didn't want to show up being like, I'm itching, I have scabies. And also didn't want to infect you with it. The good news is, I got tested not just once but twice for COVID-19. And I have determined that my mild stuffy nose is most likely not caused by COVID-19. And honestly, like, I'm not sure if you people know this, but over the summer, while I was staying at home, while I was socially distancing, while I was only going out in public with a mask and staying like 6 feet away from people at all times, I got COVID-19. Not just once, but twice. If you think that this means that I have super double natural immunity, you're wrong. This means that what I said in one of my videos in early 2020 was correct. They will never be able to make an effective vaccine for COVID-19, nor will anybody ever develop a natural immunity that makes them unable to get reinfected, because all coronaviruses mutate so quickly that the reason they haven't found a cure for the common cold and the reason that you keep catching colds is that coronaviruses mutate that quickly. I was right. If I got COVID-19 twice, I could get it 3 times. I could get it 17 times. Every time there's a new strain, I'm probably going to get it. The only thing getting it twice and not dying told me is that I've developed enough of an immunity to most likely not die from it if I get another strain. Like when I was pregnant with Eugene, I stayed with some of my relatives in New Jersey for a little while. I repeatedly went to New York City. Every time I went to New York City, I caught a cold. I would go back to my relative's house. Then a few days later, like clockwork, they would get the cold. One of these colds was really bad, resulting in the relatives going to Costco and getting the biggest package of Kleenex tissues that Costco sold, which we used up in a few days. The reason that every time I went to New York City, I got another cold and didn't develop natural immunity to the coronaviruses that cause common colds is that coronaviruses mutate so quickly that you can't develop an immunity to them like that. You'll get reinfected with the next strain. And you can even get reinfected and sick with it a few days later. So I never believed that natural immunity to COVID-19 existed or would ever exist. And the reasons that I haven't been vaccinated have nothing to do with believing in mythological natural immunity. It's because I have a heart condition, and before I knew about the period-related side effects, I actually looked into getting COVID vaccines because I knew that I wasn't going to develop a natural immunity. I looked into specifically getting a heart monitor to monitor my heart because at that point I'd only heard of heart-related side effects, and I found out it would cost me about $1,000 out of pocket if I wanted it, and the process of getting it would involve convincing people that did not believe that COVID-19 vaccines could even cause heart side effects at all to prescribe it, which basically made it like impossible for me to get a vaccine at a time when I was actually considering doing so. And one of the reasons I was considering doing so is that I had COVID-19 twice and thought maybe instead of getting it over and over the rest of my life, if I got a vaccine, I might not. I also know who I am and how I am. And like, did you see the video I made about the dentist that burned my face 20 years ago, where I called him out by name, demanded compensation, and demanded the truth about how it even happened? Okay, if I got a COVID-19 vaccine and I had some kind of side effect and I couldn't sue the government or the corporation that made the vaccine because I live in the USA, and in the USA it's illegal to do so, well, they'd at least have a thorn in their side for the next 20 years. If it made me have some kind of horrible side effect. Yeah, I was willing to risk taking a pharmaceutical that could make me have permanent side effects only because I know that I would never let them live it down for the rest of my life. And 20 years later, I would still be freaking out about it on my YouTube channel if YouTube or humanity still existed. Like, to this day, I want the names of the nurses and the anesthesiologists that were in the room with the dentist I named when they set my face on fire and caused this scar while I was unconscious. I would like to personally contact them and ask them to tell me the truth about what happened, like I have repeatedly personally contacted the dentist. I would like to make YouTube videos saying these people with these names are horrible medical professionals, avoid them like the plague, or like COVID-19. I am now going to attempt to take a shower with a different brand of soap than the one I normally use, because the one I normally use has some kind of essential oil in it that, when it hits my scabies rash, makes it feel like it's burning, like it's on fire. I hope I will be able to successfully complete this showering process without screaming in pain, causing my neighbors to have some kind of adverse reaction to my screaming. And I hope that at some point today, some delivery person shows up with my ivermectin. With that said, I'm now going to end this video. Bye, people. Well, people, I have two updates, and they're both awful. It's Sunday, and I have not yet received my ivermectin prescription. I'm itching from head to toe and in agony still, but I did get something else. I got a message from the doctor who prescribed it, asking me to give her a good review and prompting me to share on Facebook that she had prescribed me ivermectin. There's more bad news though. you're not going to be able to watch this video on YouTube, at least not for 2 weeks or longer, because late last night, YouTube flagged one of my videos as medical misinformation and banned me from posting a video or even commenting on anyone else's videos for 2 weeks. And they even threatened to remove my entire channel. What they flagged as medical misinformation is this. Breaking news. CDC admits hoax. Only 6% of COVID-19 deaths caused by COVID-19. Adrienne Floreen rants. Have you heard the breaking news that the CDC just admitted that only 6% of COVID-19 deaths were actually caused by COVID-19? If you heard this news, unfortunately it is fake news, based on someone's misinterpretation of death certificate data released by the CDC. This video may not be monetized due to the controversial title, even though the video actually disagrees with the apparent message in the title. I made that video like over a year ago when people were claiming falsely that some of the people dying of COVID-19 were not really dying of, but with COVID-19. And the point of that video was to say, no, that's a lie. They really are dying of COVID-19. I said in my video description and my video that I was disagreeing with the title. I made the title that because I was commenting on a news article called that. So basically YouTube deleted my video that was dispelling, not promoting medical misinformation, banned me from posting another video for 2 weeks, which makes me not able to post videos on or before Christmas, and threatened to delete my channel because they accused me of saying the opposite of what I was saying. And when I got these messages threatening to delete my channel late last night, I actually had a panic attack and started crying. There's video footage of things like Eugene being born on my channel that I don't have copies of anywhere else. So everybody do me a favor right now. Go to my YouTube channel and use one of those online video yanking programs and yank every single one of my videos. Please download every single one of my videos off of YouTube before YouTube deletes my channel. With that said, I am now going to end this update. Thank you for watching this update. Please like this video, share this video, watch my other videos, and subscribe to my channels on YouTube, BitChute, and Rumble. Bye, people.